Hey guys, welcome back to the DAHKTUBE. And before we get started, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And comment in the section topics you'd want me to cover. So today we'll be determining maximum or minimum values by completing the square. And then we'll be able to sketch graphs using this information. All right, so normally we use this for quadratic equations because we're completing the square. So we know that a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c, and a is not equal to 0. So let's say, for example, we want to determine if it is a maximum or a minimum curve. So what you have to do is look to see what a is. So if a is greater than 0, meaning that a is a positive number, then you will have a minimum curve. And this is what a sketch of a minimum curve would look like, going like this. So it's an upward parabola. Now, if a is less than 0, meaning a is negative, then we have a maximum curve. And a sketch of a maximum curve will look something like this, which is a downward parabola. X squared plus 6x plus 7. The first thing you want to do is label A, which is 1, B is 6, and C would be 7. So you look at A to look if it is greater than or less than 0. In this case, A is 1. That means A is greater than 0. Therefore, we will have a minimum curve. So now we just complete the square. So again, I will put the link for the video of completing the square here. So we write the first term, we write the second term, we find half of b. In this case, b is 6. So half of b is 3. Add half the square of b on the inside of the bracket. Then we have plus 7, which is c, and we subtract a times whatever we added inside the bracket, which is this. So we're subtracting half of b squared on the outside of the bracket. Now we write the first squared term, which is this here. We use the symbol or the sign that is in front of the b term, which is a plus here. And then we use the second squared term, which is 3. And we put that in a bracket. We square it. Then we simplify what is on the outside here. So that's 7 minus 3 squared, which is 9. So that's 7 minus 9, which is minus 2. So this is us completing the square. So as what is in the bracket, which is x plus 3 all squared, so we know that it is greater than 0. Therefore, x plus 3 all squared minus the 2, which is the complete form of the completing the square, that is also greater than 0. So because we added the minus 2 here, we have to put the minus 2 on there. So anything we do to the left-hand side, we have to do to the right-hand side. So now we have x plus 3 all squared minus 2 greater than equal to minus 2. So this minus 2 tells us the minimum value. So that is the minimum value. And the minimum value occurs when you have x plus 3 squared is equal to 0. So that means x has to be equal to minus 3. Because if you put minus 3 plus 3 all squared, you're supposed to get 0. So let's say we have 2x squared minus 4x plus 5. So the first thing we want to do is we want to complete the square. So we have, so the first thing you want to do is look to see what the values are. So A is 2, B is negative 4, and C is 5. So we look and realize that A is greater than 0. That means we're going to get a minimum. So now we can complete our square. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get the coefficient of A to be 1. So that means we have to factor out 2 from the variables. So we separated the variables. So we have 2, and then in the bracket we have x squared minus 4x over 2 plus 5. So that simplified is so now we find half of b. In this case, b is 2. Half of b is 1, and we square it. So we're adding the square of 1 on the inside, and we're subtracting a, which is 2, times what we added on the inside here, which is 1 squared. So now we simplify what's in our bracket. So we have 2, we write the first squared term, we write the symbol that is in front of the b term, which is negative in this case. Then we write the second squared term, then we square that, and we simplify what is outside the bracket, which is 5 minus 2, which gives us plus 3. Now, as 2x minus 1 square is greater than 0, then 2x minus 1 square plus 3 greater than 0 plus 3. So that means 2x minus 1 plus 3 is greater than or equal to plus 3. That means our minimum value is 3. And this occurs when x is equal to positive 1, because you're going to substitute a value here to ensure that you get 0 here. So you'd have x minus 1 squared equals 0, and that only occurs when x is equal to positive 1. So the minimum value is 3. That means the minimum point, which is a coordinate, is where x is 1 and y is 3. So that is 1, 3. So what you're going to do next, because we're going to actually try and plot the graph now. So what you need to do next is you need to find the y-intercept. How you find the y-intercept? By putting x is equal to 0. So now the quadratic, which is y is equal to 2x squared minus 4x plus 5. So when x is 0, we have 2, 0 squared minus 4, 0 plus 5. When you simplify that, y is equal to 5. That means the y-intercept is 5. So you have the coordinate 0, 5. So now when you sketch your graph, coordinates. So you can just sketch a graph. Mine won't be that straight. So the first point, which is this, is 1, 3, which goes here. So this is 1, 3. The next point is 0, 5, which goes here, which is 0, 5. And we know that it's a minimum curve, so we know that it will look like this. So you just connect the points, and you're going to get a curve. So this is what your curve should look like with your point 1, 3 here. All right, let me change the color. Your point 1, 3 here, and your point 0, 5 there. Now, you can find the line of symmetry, which is where you cut the curve exactly in half, and it would be at the point x equal 1. And that's how you solve. So let's try another example quickly. Let's say we have 3 minus 4x minus x squared. Even though the constant is first and the squared term is last, it is still a quadratic. You could rearrange it by saying minus x squared minus 4x plus 3. So now a is equal to -1, b is minus 4, and c is 3. So because a is negative, that means a is less than 0, therefore it is a maximum curve. So now we're going to complete the square, so we need to put the negative sign, because remember the coefficient of a must be 1. So we'll put the -1 outside, bracket, x squared plus 4x, then you have plus 3, so you have -1. We need to find half of b and square it. So half of b is 2, and we have 2 squared. And anything you do in the inside, so remember, it's now plus 3 minus -1 times 2 squared. So we have the -1 on the outside. Write the first squared term, the sign that is in front, the b term, which is in this case a plus sign. The second squared term, square all of that, and we simplify what is on the outside. So it's 3 minus minus, this gives you plus 2 squared, which is 4. So that's going to give you plus 7. So as negative x plus 2 squared is less than 0, less than or equal to 0, negative x plus 2 squared plus 7 is also less than or equal to 0, and you're adding plus 7 here. So the maximum value is 7, and this occurs when x plus 2 is equal to 0. So that means when x is equal to -2. So that means the maximum point is -2, 7. And next we need to find the y-intercept. So by putting x is equal to 0. So we have y is equal to -x squared minus 4x plus 3. So that's -0 squared minus 4, 0 plus 3. And that gives us the y-intercept to be 3. So the coordinate is 0, 3. So now we can plot this on the graph. So draw your sketch. So now we have -2, 7, which is here, and we have 0, 3. Let me change the color. 0, 3, which is here. You're going to get a maximum graph like this. So the point is here for that one, here for that one, and your axis of symmetry or your line of symmetry would be here. And that's how you find a maximum or minimum point and draw this curve. So thank you guys for staying tuned, and I'll see you guys next time on the Dahk Tube.